My name is Dr. Maya Chin, though my family still calls me Maya the Dropout. The phone call came on a Tuesday morning while I was reviewing quarterly reports for my medical software company. My sister Jessica's voice had that particular tone she reserved for delivering bad news wrapped in fake concern. "Maya, about my baby shower this Saturday," she began. "I've been thinking, and honestly it might be better if you don't come." I set down my coffee. "Go on." "It's just, all my friends from the hospital will be there. Official doctors, you know. Surgeons, specialists, department heads. And you're—" She paused for effect. "Well, you're still doing that computer thing, right? Working from home in your pajamas? I just think the conversation would be awkward for you. You wouldn't have anything to contribute." I looked at the 3 monitors on my desk displaying real-time analytics from 847 hospitals across North America using my surgical scheduling AI. "I understand. You're not upset, are you?" Jessica's voice brightened. "I knew you'd get it. Mom was worried you'd make a scene, but I told her you'd be mature about this." "Mom knows about this decision?" "Of course." She agreed completely. Actually, she said it was probably for the best. You know how you get around successful people? All quiet and uncomfortable. "We're just trying to spare you the embarrassment." I pulled up the guest list my assistant had compiled. Jessica had invited 47 people, including Dr. Richard Morrison, CEO of St. Catherine's Medical Center, the flagship hospital in our city's health system and the largest client of my company, MediFlow Solutions. "I appreciate you thinking of my feelings," I said carefully. "That's what sisters do. Anyway, I have to run. Dr. Harrison is taking me to lunch. You know, my husband, the orthopedic surgeon? He's presenting at a conference in Dubai next month. But of course you wouldn't know about that kind of thing." She hung up before I could respond. I sat there for a moment, then called my assistant. "Sarah, about the Healthcare Innovation Gala next Friday. Confirm my attendance. And send flowers to Jessica's baby shower. Something tasteful. Include a card. Wishing you all the best. Maya." Growing up, Jessica was the golden child. Straight A's, captain of the debate team, full scholarship to medical school. I was the weird kid who spent weekends coding instead of socializing, who chose a state school for computer science over the pre-med track my parents had planned. "Maya's wasting her potential," my mother told relatives at every family gathering. "She could have been a doctor like Jessica. Instead, she's playing with computers." When I dropped out of my corporate job at 26 to start my own company, the family response was predictable. "You're throwing away a stable career for what? An app?" My father's voice dripped with disappointment. "Jessica is saving lives." "You're what exactly?" "Building healthcare software," I'd explained. "Surgical scheduling AI that reduces operating room downtime by—" "So you're a secretary," my mother interrupted. "Scheduling appointments." There was no point arguing. Let them think what they wanted. I'd actually identified a massive problem during a hospital visit when my grandmother needed surgery. The operating rooms sat empty for hours due to scheduling inefficiencies while patients waited months for procedures. Surgeons wanted to operate, patients needed surgery, but the scheduling systems were archaic, running on software from the 1990s. I spent 3 years building the solution. MediFlow's AI analyzed surgeon preferences, patient urgency levels, equipment availability, and staff schedules to optimize operating room usage. Early beta testing showed we could increase surgical capacity by 34% without adding resources. The first hospital that adopted us was St. Catherine's Medical Center. Dr. Richard Morrison, the CEO, took a chance on an unknown 29-year-old with a radical idea. Within 6 months, St. Catherine's surgical volume increased by 41%. Patient wait times dropped by 63%. The hospital saved $8.3 million in the first year alone. Dr. Morrison called me personally. "Maya, this is revolutionary. We need to talk about expansion." 3 years later, MediFlow was in 847 hospitals across the US and Canada. Our valuation hit $340 million after our Series C funding round. I owned 61% of the company. But to my family, I was still Maya the dropout who plays with computers. Jessica married Dr. Derek Harrison 2 years ago. The wedding was a showcase of medical elite. Every conversation revolved around surgical techniques, research grants, and hospital politics. I was seated at the back table with distant cousins and plus ones nobody knew. "And what do you do?" one of Derek's colleagues asked me during dinner. Before I could answer, Jessica leaned over. "Maya does computer stuff. Nothing medical." "Derek, tell Dr. Patterson about your groundbreaking knee reconstruction technique." I excused myself early. Nobody noticed. The baby shower was scheduled at the Meridian Club, an upscale venue overlooking the harbor. My mother had insisted on co-hosting, which meant she'd spared no expense to impress Jessica's doctor friends. I wasn't hurt by the disinvitation. I was curious. You see, 3 weeks earlier, St. Catherine's had approached me about something significant. They wanted to host the annual Healthcare Innovation Summit, a prestigious conference that drew medical leaders from around the world. The keynote speaker was always someone who'd transformed healthcare delivery. Dr. Morrison had asked me to keynote. "Your work has changed how we think about surgical capacity," he'd said during our video call. "Hospitals nationwide are seeing results they never thought possible. The industry needs to hear from you directly." I'd accepted. The summit was this Friday, 2 days before Jessica's shower. Sarah had also mentioned something interesting. Dr. Morrison's wife was on the guest list for Jessica's baby shower. They'd apparently met at some hospital fundraiser, and Mrs. Morrison had taken a liking to Jessica, which meant Dr. Morrison would likely attend the shower with his wife. And he would see the photos. You see, I'd been doing my homework. Jessica's social media was public, and she'd been posting extensively about the shower preparations. The theme was medical miracles. Decorations included stethoscopes, tiny scrubs, and framed photos of inspirational medical moments. One of those photos, posted just yesterday, showed Jessica beaming next to Dr. Morrison at a hospital gala. But in the background of that photo, clearly visible, was another frame on the venue's wall, the Healthcare Innovation Awards ceremony from last year, where Dr. Morrison had presented me with the industry's highest honor. Jessica had cropped herself into a photo without realizing what else was in the frame. I said nothing. I just watched. Friday arrived. The Healthcare Innovation Summit was held at the Grand Ballroom of the Westin Harbor, with 1,200 attendees, CEOs, surgeons, hospital administrators, health tech investors, and medical journalists. I wore a navy suit and tried not to throw up from nerves. Dr. Morrison introduced me himself. 3 years ago, a young entrepreneur walked into my office with an idea that sounded too good to be true. Increase surgical capacity by 1/3 without adding resources? Impossible, I thought. But Maya Chin didn't just promise results, she delivered them. Today, MediFlow Solutions operates in 847 hospitals, has facilitated over 340,000 additional surgeries, and has fundamentally changed how we think about healthcare resource optimization. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founder and CEO of MediFlow Solutions, Dr. Maya Chin. The applause was thunderous. I hadn't told my family I'd completed my doctorate. I'd finished my PhD in computer science and healthcare informatics 2 years ago, doing the coursework at night while running my company. The graduation ceremony conflicted with Jessica's engagement party, so I'd skipped it. Nobody asked why I wasn't there anyway. My keynote went well. I spoke about the intersection of technology and compassion, about how every minute of operating room downtime represented a patient still waiting, still suffering. I shared data. MediFlow hospitals had collectively performed 340,000 additional surgeries in 3 years, 340,000 patients who got care months or years earlier than they would have otherwise. We're not just optimizing schedules, I concluded. We're optimizing hope. Standing ovation. 3 venture capital firms requested meetings. Forbes wanted an interview. Dr. Morrison shook my hand with genuine warmth. You've made healthcare history today, Maya. The industry will never be the same. That evening, the photos hit social media. Medical News Today, Healthcare IT Journal, and Modern Hospital Management all ran features. The summit's official Twitter account posted a photo of me receiving a standing ovation captioned, "Dr. Maya Chin, MediFlow Solutions CEO, receives recognition for revolutionizing surgical capacity optimization. 847 hospitals. 340,000 plus additional surgeries. One brilliant mind." My phone buzzed with congratulations from colleagues, investors, and hospital executives. One notification stood out. Jessica had posted an Instagram story from her baby shower venue setup. The decorations looked beautiful. She tagged my mother and added, "Tomorrow. Can't wait to celebrate with my real doctor friends. Blue Heart Baby Hospital. I took a screenshot. Just in case. Saturday morning I worked from my home office. A converted bedroom with a standing desk, 3 monitors and a wall of medical technology patents with my name on them. Sarah called at 11 a.m. Maya, you need to see this. He sent me a link to a live stream. Jessica had set up a camera at the shower for people who couldn't attend in person. I watched as guests arrived, admiring the decorations, cooing over tiny medical-themed onesies. My mother held court near the gift table, telling everyone about my daughter, the surgeon's wife. Jessica's always been brilliant. Mom gushed to a cluster of older women. Top of her class, married a wonderful doctor. They're going to raise this baby with such strong values. Education, service, excellence. Don't you have another daughter? One woman asked. My mother's smile tightened. Why? Well, she does computer work. We don't really talk about it. Oh, the woman said, understanding immediately. A disappointment. Every family had one. I was about to close the stream when I saw him. Dr. Richard Morrison entered with his wife, Eleanor. He wore a casual blazer and carried a beautifully wrapped gift. Jessica practically sprinted across the room. Dr. Morrison. Mrs. Morrison. I'm so honored you could come. She air-kissed Eleanor's cheeks. Please come see the decorations. We've got a whole medical theme. She led them on a tour, pointing out details. And here's our photo wall. Inspirational medical moments. She gestured proudly at the display. Dr. Morrison stopped. His eyes fixed on one particular photo, the one Jessica had posted, the gala picture. But he wasn't looking at Jessica. He was looking at the background. At the framed photo of him presenting me with the Healthcare Innovation Award. Is that? He leaned closer, then pulled out his phone, scrolling. He showed Eleanor something, probably one of yesterday's summit photos. Eleanor's eyes widened. She looked at the photo wall, then at Jessica, then back at her husband. Jessica, Dr. Morrison said carefully, this photo here, the one from the hospital gala. That's a lovely picture, but I'm curious about the frame visible in the background. Is that the Healthcare Innovation Award ceremony? Jessica beamed, missing the tension in his voice. Oh yes. That event was so inspiring. All those amazing medical innovations. Indeed. Dr. Morrison studied her face. Tell me, Jessica, do you know who received that award? The Healthcare Innovation Award is quite prestigious. Only given to individuals who've truly transformed patient care. I'm sure it was well-deserved. Jessica said brightly. There are so many brilliant people in healthcare. There are, he agreed. Your sister, for instance. The room went quiet. Jessica's smile froze. I'm sorry. Your sister. Maya-chan. She received that award. From me. At that ceremony. He pointed at the background photo. In fact, unless I'm very mistaken, that's me presenting her with the award. Which would make this photo rather ironic, given that Maya wasn't invited today. My mother appeared, sensing disaster. Dr. Morrison, I'm sure there's been a... Mrs. Chen. His voice was cool. I'm quite sure there hasn't been a misunderstanding. I presented Maya with the Healthcare Innovation Award last year in front of 1,200 of our industry's leaders. Yesterday she keynoted our summit. This morning, 3 major medical journals are running features about her. And this afternoon, I arrive at a baby shower to discover her own family doesn't know who she is. Jessica's face had gone white. Maya? My sister Maya? But she just does computer stuff. She works from home. She's not. Not what? Eleanor Morrison's voice was ice. Not important. Not successful. Not worthy of acknowledgement. She dropped out of a real job. Jessica's voice rose. She plays with apps. She's not a real. She's a real doctor, Dr. Morrison interrupted. PhD in computer science and healthcare informatics. She's the founder and CEO of MediFlow Solutions, which operates in 847 hospitals including mine. Her AI has enabled 340,000 additional surgeries. Her company is valued at $340 million. And yesterday she received a standing ovation from every major healthcare leader in North America. The room was dead silent. My mother swayed slightly. That's not possible. Maya doesn't. Dr. Morrison pulled out his phone and held it up, showing yesterday's Forbes tweet. Dr. Maya Chen's MediFlow Solutions revolutionizes surgical scheduling. $340 million valuation, 847 hospital network. PhD innovator receives standing ovation at healthcare summit. The photo showed me on stage, confident and smiling. This Maya? He asked quietly. The one who wasn't invited because she'd embarrass the doctors. Jessica grabbed the phone, staring at the photo. No, there's been a mistake. Maya doesn't have a doctorate. Maya doesn't run a company. Maya is just what? Eleanor asked softly. Jessica's hands shook. She's supposed to be the failure. I'm the successful one. I'm the doctor. I'm the one who... You're a third-year resident, Dr. Morrison said. A fine resident from what I hear, but a resident nonetheless. Your sister is transforming healthcare on a global scale. She's saving thousands of lives by making surgery accessible to patients who would otherwise wait years. And you disinvited her from your baby shower because you were embarrassed by her. I didn't know. Jessica's voice cracked. Nobody told me. How was I supposed to? Did you ask? Eleanor's question hung in the air. Did you ever once ask your sister about her work? About her life? Or did you just assume she was beneath you? My mother found her voice. Maya never said anything. She never mentioned. Dr. Morrison's laugh was bitter. I wonder why. Perhaps because every time she tried you called her a secretary? Because you seated her at the back of the wedding with strangers? Because you've spent years making it clear she doesn't measure up. He looked around the room at the assembled doctors, many of whom were shifting uncomfortably. How many of you use MediFlow at your hospitals? He asked. Slowly hands went up. 7, 8, 12 people. How many of you have seen your surgical volumes increase? Your patient wait times decrease? Your or efficiency skyrocket? More hands. Then you've all benefited from Maya Chen's work. And yet she's not here because her family decided she'd be an embarrassment. He turned back to Jessica. I came here as a courtesy to Eleanor, who thought you seemed like a bright young physician. But I'm leaving now because I don't associate with people who treat brilliance with contempt simply because they don't understand it. Dr. Morrison, please. Jessica reached for him. He stepped back. Save it. I've seen enough. As he and Eleanor walked toward the door, he paused. By the way, Jessica, your hospital, St. Catherine's, where you're doing your residency. Maya's software runs your entire surgical department. Every surgery you've assisted on for the past 2 years was scheduled by her AI. You've been working in her system, benefiting from her innovation, and you didn't even know it. He left. The room erupted. Guests clustered around phones, searching Maya Chen MediFlow. Gasps and whispers filled the air as search results appeared. Forbes profiles, TechCrunch articles, Medical News Today features, photos of me at conferences, at hospital ribbon cuttings, accepting awards. My mother grabbed Jessica's phone and stared at the Forbes article. Her face went gray as she scrolled through paragraphs about my company's growth, my doctorate, my keynote speeches. $340 million, she whispered. Maya owns a company worth $340 million. Jessica was crying now. She never told us. She never said. Because we never listened. My mother's voice was sharp. Every time she tried to talk about her work, we changed the subject or made jokes about her being a secretary. We didn't care. We didn't want to know. Derek, Jessica's husband, stood frozen by the gift table, his phone in his hand. Maya scheduled my last 3 surgeries at St. Catherine's. I've been using her software for 2 years. I've been telling people how revolutionary the new system is. I just never knew it was hers. Why would you? One of the guests said quietly. None of us knew. Her own family didn't know. My phone started ringing. First Jessica, then my mother, then Derek. I let them all go to voicemail. Sarah called instead. Maya, it's happening. Social media is blowing up. Someone at the shower filmed Dr. Morrison's confrontation and posted it. It's gone viral. Over 2 million views in an hour. #MayaChen is trending. Of course it is, I said tiredly. What do you want me to do? I thought about it. About years of dismissal and condescension. About being called a dropout and a secretary. About missing my own PhD graduation because nobody in my family cared enough to ask about it. Nothing, I said. Let it play out. The next 48 hours were chaos. The shower video spread everywhere. Medical professionals across the country shared it with comments ranging from, "This is why we need to celebrate all kinds of healthcare innovation," to, "Imagine being so insecure you can't recognize genius in your own family." Forbes ran a follow-up. "The sister they left behind. How family dismissal fueled a $340 million healthcare revolution." The Atlantic published an essay, "Maya Chin and the Cost of Conditional Love. When Families Only Value Certain Kinds of Success." My phone wouldn't stop ringing. I ignored everyone except business contacts and friends. On Monday, my mother appeared at my office. A sleek space in the Innovation District with Mediflow's logo in the lobby and photos of our hospital partners on the walls. Security called up. "Dr. Chin, there's a Mrs. Chin here to see you." "No relation," I said. "But send her up." My mother looked small in my glass-walled office, surrounded by monitors showing real-time surgical data from hundreds of hospitals. "Hiya," she began, tears already forming. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't understand." "You didn't want to understand," I corrected. "You wanted me to fit into your definition of success. Doctor, lawyer, banker. Something you could brag about at parties. When I chose a different path, you decided I'd failed and nothing I said could change your mind. I was wrong." She wiped her eyes. "So wrong. All this time you were doing something incredible and I was too blind to see it." "You weren't blind, Mom. You just weren't looking. Can you forgive me?" I leaned back in my chair. "Honestly, I don't know. This isn't about one incident. This is about years of dismissal. Years of being told I wasn't good enough. Years of watching you celebrate Jessica's every accomplishment while treating mine like they didn't exist. I'll do better. I promise. We all will. Will you?" I pulled up my email. Because Jessica sent me 17 messages yesterday. 13 of them were apologies. 4 of them mentioned that she's hoping Dr. Morrison doesn't affect her career at St. Catherine's. So I'm not sure she's sorry for hurting me. I think she's sorry she got caught. My mother flinched. She's young. She's scared. She's 31 years old and a physician. She's old enough to know better. "What do you want from us, Maya? How do we fix this?" I stood and walked to my window looking out over the city. "I don't want anything from you. That's what I've been trying to tell you for years. I didn't build this company for your approval. I built it because patients were suffering unnecessarily and I could help. I didn't get my doctorate to impress you. I got it because I wanted to understand the medical side of what I was building." I turned back to her. "You can't fix this with an apology, Mom. You fix it by understanding that your love shouldn't be conditional. That success comes in many forms. That maybe, just maybe, the daughter you wrote off as a failure was actually changing the world. You just couldn't see it because it didn't look like what you expected." She was openly crying now. "I love you, Maya. I know you do. But love isn't enough when it comes with conditions and comparisons." She left quietly. Jessica appeared Wednesday morning looking exhausted. "Dr. Morrison hasn't returned my calls," she said without preamble. "HR at St. Catherine's wants to meet with me. Derek thinks I should transfer to a different hospital. My friends are asking if the video is real. My career is imploding." "Is it?" I asked mildly. "You could fix this." Her voice rose. "One word from you to Dr. Morrison, one statement that this was all a misunderstanding." "But it wasn't a misunderstanding, Jessica. You genuinely believed I'd embarrass you. You genuinely thought I had nothing to offer your doctor friends. You were genuinely ashamed of me. I didn't know the truth. You didn't care about the truth. You made assumptions and never questioned them. That's different." She slumped into a chair. "What do you want me to say? That I was a terrible sister? That I was arrogant and dismissive? Fine. I was. I'm saying it. Now will you help me?" "Why should I?" "Because we're family." The word hung between us. "Family," I repeated. "The same family that seated me at the back of your wedding. The same family that calls me a dropout. The same family that didn't notice when I got my doctorate. That family." I said, "I'm sorry." "No, Jessica. You said your career is imploding. That's not the same thing." She was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was smaller. "I looked you up. Really looked you up. The articles, the patents, the hospitals. There's a profile that says you worked 90-hour weeks for 3 years to get Mediflow off the ground. That you maxed out your credit cards and ate ramen for a year. That you almost gave up a dozen times but kept going because you believed in what you were building. She looked up at me with red eyes. I never knew. I never asked. I assumed you were wasting your time and I never bothered to find out if I was wrong. That's on me. Not on you for not telling me, on me for not caring enough to ask. It was the most honest thing she'd ever said to me. I can't fix your relationship with Dr. Morrison, I said quietly. That's yours to repair or not. But I can tell you this. The problem isn't that he knows the truth. The problem is how you treated me when you thought I was nobody. That's what he can't overlook. That's what I can't overlook. So that's it. We just stop being sisters. We haven't really been sisters for a long time, Jessica. We've been two people who share DNA and occasionally see each other at holidays. If you want something different, it starts with seeing me. Actually seeing me. Not Maya the dropout or Maya the embarrassment. Just Maya. She stood slowly. I don't know if I can fix this. Neither do I. But that's where we are. After she left, I sat in my office for a long time, looking at the wall of photos. Hospitals using our software. Patients whose surgeries had been moved up by months thanks to our scheduling optimization. Thank you letters from families. My assistant Sarah knocked softly. The team wants to know if we're still on for the board meeting Thursday. Of course. Why wouldn't we be? Well, all the media attention. The family drama. They thought you might need time. I smiled. Sarah, I've been dealing with my family's dismissal for years while building this company. A viral video doesn't change that. The work continues. You're remarkably calm about all this. Am I? I pulled up my laptop. Or am I just not surprised? I always knew what I was building. I always knew what I was worth. The only thing that's changed is now everyone else knows too. 3 months later, Jessica gave birth to a healthy baby girl. She named her Maya. The text message came at 2 a.m. She's here. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Perfect. We named her after you. Hope that's okay. I stared at my phone in the darkness of my bedroom. Another text followed. Not to make up for anything. Not to fix things. Just because you're someone worth naming a child after. Took me too long to realize that. I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I got up and went to my home office, where framed on the wall was the Forbes cover from last month. 40 under 40. The innovators reshaping healthcare. My photo smiling in front of a wall of surgical data. The article inside had a quote from Dr. Morrison. Maya Chin didn't just build a company. He built a legacy. Every patient who gets surgery months earlier than they would have otherwise. That's her legacy. Every hospital that can serve more people with the same resources. That's her legacy. She changed healthcare because she refused to accept that the status quo was good enough. I thought about the baby girl sleeping in a hospital nursery, named after an aunt she might never know. I thought about Jessica holding her daughter, maybe finally understanding what it means to love someone unconditionally, without requiring them to fit a predetermined mold. I thought about my mother who'd started therapy and sent me 1 text a week. Nothing heavy. Just, thinking of you. Proud of you. Love you. No expectations. Just, presence. I picked up my phone and typed, congratulations. She's lucky to have you as her mother. Give her my love. Then, I'll visit when you're ready. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a door left open. Sometimes that's enough. 6 months later, I was back at the Healthcare Innovation Summit, this time as a keynote panelist discussing the future of medical AI. In the audience, in the 3rd row, sat my mother and Jessica holding baby Maya. We'd had dinner the night before, awkward, careful but real. Jessica had brought photos of the baby. My mother had asked about my business, actually listening to the answers. I'm learning to knit, my mother had said suddenly. Baby blankets. I made one for Maya. She'd pulled out her phone showing a lumpy blue and white creation. It's terrible, but I made it myself. I'm learning that things don't have to be perfect to be valuable. Wish I'd learned that 30 years ago. Jessica had been quiet most of the meal, just listening, occasionally bouncing the baby when she fussed. As dessert arrived, she'd finally spoken. I withdrew my name from the awards committee at St. Catherine's. The one that nominates residents for recognition. Why? I'd asked. Because I realized I was doing it for the wrong reasons. For the prestige. For the bragging rights. For mom and dad to be proud. Not because I actually cared about being the best doctor I could be. She'd looked at baby Maya. I want to be different for her. I want her to know that success isn't about titles or awards. It's about doing work that matters. Now, watching them in the audience as I discussed the ethical implications of AI in healthcare, I felt something unfamiliar. Hope? After my panel, Dr. Morrison found me backstage. That was brilliant as always. And I see you have some special guests today. Hi family, I said simply. How's that going? Slowly. Carefully. But going. He nodded. Good. Everyone deserves a second chance. Even people who didn't appreciate what they had. Even Jessica? She's still a resident at St. Catherine's. Even Jessica. She's actually become one of our more thoughtful residents. Spends extra time with patients, questions established protocols respectfully, advocates for efficiency improvements. It's like she finally understood that being a good doctor isn't about status. It's about service. He paused. Though I'll admit I was hard on her at first. That shower incident. It revealed something ugly about how we sometimes treat people we think are beneath us. I'm glad she's learned from it. Later, Jessica approached me in the lobby, baby Maya asleep in her arms. That was incredible, Maya. I understood maybe 60% of it, but what I got was amazing. You'll understand more as you keep learning. Medicine and technology are converging. She shifted the baby slightly. Would you like to hold her? I looked at the sleeping infant, her tiny face peaceful and unaware of the complicated family dynamics swirling around her. Yes, I said. Jessica carefully transferred her daughter into my arms. Baby Maya stirred but didn't wake, just made a soft sighing sound. She looks like you, I said. She has your eyebrows. Jessica countered. Those determined eyebrows that say, I'm going to change the world whether you like it or not. We both laughed softly. My mother appeared, camera ready. Can I get a photo? My daughters and my granddaughter. We posed, awkward, uncertain but together. As the camera clicked, baby Maya opened her eyes and looked directly at me with that unfocused infant gaze that somehow seems wise. Hey there, little one, I whispered. You've got a big name to live up to. But here's a secret. You don't have to be what anyone expects. You just have to be yourself. The world will catch up eventually. Jessica wiped her eyes. That's what I want her to know. That's what I should have known about you. You know it now. That's what matters. Is it enough? I looked at my sister. Flawed human trying. It's a start. That evening I returned to my office and found an email from the board. Mediflow had just secured contracts with 150 additional hospitals. Our AI was being adopted in Europe. Projections showed we'd hit 1,500 hospitals by next year. But what caught my eye was a different email from a hospital in rural Montana. Dear Dr. Chen, because of your software we performed 12 additional surgeries this month. One of them was my mother. She'd been waiting 14 months for her hip replacement. She walked into church last Sunday, her first time in over a year. Thank you for giving me my mom back. I read it 3 times. This was why I built Mediflow. Not for the valuation or the awards or even to prove my family wrong. For the mother walking into church. For the patient who didn't have to wait 14 months. For the surgeon who could finally operate on everyone who needed help. My phone buzzed. Jessica had sent a photo, baby Maya in a onesie that read Future Innovator. The caption, she's going to change the world. Just like her aunt. I smiled and saved the photo. Then I returned to work. There were 1,500 hospitals to reach, millions of patients to help. And a world that still didn't fully understand the intersection of technology and healing. But they would. They always did. Eventually everyone sees the truth. You just have to be patient enough to wait for them to catch up. And strong enough to keep building while they do. I'd been building for years while my family looked the other way. Now they were finally watching. And I was just getting started.